So Rachel, lovely to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you.
How familiar were you with the book before you started work on this project?
I feel like I should pretend that I had read it, but I hadn't actually. Obviously, I've heard of Du Maurier, and I know that she was a favourite of Hitchcock's, and I was very aware of her as an important writer. I hadn't actually read her book, so I read My Cousin Rachel in preparation for this.
And what were your first impressions of the book on that first reading?
Oh, I thought it was fascinating that it was a woman writing as if she were a man, so from the male point of view, about an obsession with a woman. And she was writing in the 1950s, but imagining she were in the 100 years earlier. So she's bringing some very modern, edgy, challenging preoccupations to the 19th century. So a portrait of a woman who's challenging the mores of her days. You know, she believes in sexual freedom, financial freedom. She should be able to have a job, support herself, not just be a possession and a chattel through marriage. So these very modern ideas set in a 19th century context. I thought that was fascinating.
So you must read scripts the whole time. People were sending you things
the whole time. I read scripts night and day, morning to night. I never stop.
Lots of reading for work anyway, learning scripts. Do you ever find time still to take pleasure in reading?
Yes.
What kind of thing do you like to read?
I read a lot. I like to read lots of books at the same time.
Okay.
Right now I'm rereading Plot Against America, Philip Roth's book that he wrote some years ago, because it's suddenly become very prescient to our times.
Okay.
I like having lots on the go, and I can dip in and out and keep them. I don't have to completely finish one before I start another.
I have to confess, I played football my entire childhood and never really kind of got into book reading. And it wasn't until I went to drama school and I started dating a girl who got me into reading books. And I started with The Lord of the Flies, and that was one of the first novels I read from cover to cover. I was kind of, amazed at how amazing kind of my imagination was working. But I do enjoy reading, and the one time I do, most of the films that I've done over the last few years have been based on novels.
I was going to say Me Before You.
Journey's End, My Cousin Rachel, Their Finest Hour and a Half, and I mean the list goes on and on. So I feel like reading is a massive part of what I do, and I always enjoy reading the books, especially after working on it and kind of going, oh, okay, well, I've slightly changed that.
So I mentioned Jonathan Pryce has narrated an audiobook version of My Cousin Rachel. You're a fan of him, I think?
I am a massive fan, yeah. I grew up loving musicals, and Miss Saigon was one of those musicals that I was sort of completely spellbound by. And, of course, he is the man. He's amazing. And, now he's in Game of Thrones, and ever since he's Pirates of the Caribbean, I've been a massive fan for a long, long time.